Welcome back to Genre. I'm your host, Elise.
And I'm Katie.
And today we are talking about Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. But first, we have some things to say. Katie, you've come super prepared, I feel like.
I have come prepared.
All right, hit me.
Because this came to me last night while I was on TikTok, having my time on TikTok.
When you were ticketing.
When I was ticking and
After
talking.
you've had a delicious gummy.
Yep.
Just a gummy treat.
Yep. And what came across my feed, and I actually wrote it down in my notes immediately last night when it came to me, and it relates to our episode because do you know who Lydia Millen is?
I don't know if I know who Lydia Millen is.
Lydia Millen is that she's a British influencer, and she was really famous for all of like her bags and luxury items.
And she was giving them away.
And she was
selling them. She was getting rid of them. Yeah.
She was selling them.
Yeah.
And then last night what comes up on my feed is Lydia Millen in the kitchen talking really softly, but like making bread. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, she's tradwifing.
I was like, is she tradwifing in a way that it's almost like she doesn't have any kids, but it's very much like, here's my herb garden and here's my chickens that we only eat eggs from. And I was like, whoa, when did Lydia Millen become a tradwife? How did this happen?
Like, was that part of her giving away all of her expensive bags?
I kind of
to live the simple life?
I feel like that's what she has moved her consumer base to.
That's interesting.
I know. But when I saw it, I was like, the kitchen.
We'll talk more about it with the book. And obviously, Ballerina Farms.
Yeah.
Call the police. Call your lawyer. To some of the illusions are barely illusions.
Yeah. We've certainly heard this before.
Yeah. Anyway, but the tradwife of it all, like that simple
living, but it's not living,
because it's so complicated. It's like, to be that simple is so complicated.
I mean, Lydia Millen has a stunning country estate somewhere outside of London, and she's certainly not living simply, but it's tradding.
It's tradding.
It's tradding, but not a wife. But it's
Is she married?
Yeah, she's married. They don't have kids. I mean, her house is stunning. It's like a cottage. It's beautiful. It's everything that when you imagine English countryside, like this is her home.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're living on the farm, but we're living in the countryside. We're walking through fields of wildflowers. Ugh, I mean, it's stunning.
It's stunning. I mean, who doesn't want that life?
It's very attractive when I look at it. I'm like, wow, this is very beautiful. It's very aesthetic. It's very, I don't know. It's like not surrounded by kids, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They have pets. Like when you look at pictures of Lydia Millen, what she looked like when she first started influencing, and I think she was like a fitness maybe influencer.
Okay.
And again, she's been influencing for like 15 years. And so obviously the style back then was much different. But wow, her then and now is something.
Like, what is she wearing?
Different.
Is she doing like the prairie dresses and things like that too?
Sort of, but not really.
Okay.
Like, I feel like she's wearing modest, I'd say, clothing.
Okay.
And yeah, like sometimes she's in jeans and like wellies because she's out working in the garden, you know?
Yeah, she's gardening.
She's gardening, but she has this like beautiful hat on, or she has these like long skirts. I mean, she's stunning.
Yeah.
But it's just all of a sudden last night it really hit me and I was like, whoa.
This is the thing.
She has taken a turn to be doing something else. And it just reminded me of this book.
Yep. Okay, my something to say?
Yeah.
Is that I'm going to make you watch Off Campus.
Okay.
So I watched the first 3 episodes because I wanted to see. It's not safe to say just because you liked Heated Rivalry, you will like Off Campus. First, it's a college age romance,
I don't like
which
that.
I mean, I'm not even a huge fan of. Like, I just read The Deal recently. I knew it was popular and I knew the series was popular, but I didn't read it because college age kids boning is not usually my bag. It's not usually my bag. But I read it because Brianna wanted me to read it so we could watch the show. And then now everybody is talking about it. And I was always going to watch it, but now I'm like, I got to move it up.
Is it out? It's all out.
It's all out. It's not episodic. They just like put out all 10 episodes.
I mean, I can't open my phone without seeing.
Yeah.
And so I did also in my TikToking last night. I did see a lot of videos on this crew, and they all seem like very young, newish actors.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of them.
But it seems like they're kind of like blowing up from this, and it reminds me of like Outer Banks, like the Outer Banks cast who had that wonderful like 6 months of themselves filming. They all became really good friends, and then of course by the 4th season, it's like
no one's talking to each other anymore.
Yeah. And that's what I imagine will happen with these guys. So I think I will watch it. They do look, the men are quite hunky.
Yep. I will say, they made a lot of what you're seeing online is that there's some very significant changes versus the book.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like there's too many.
No, they're keeping to the general storyline, but I do think that the changes they made, one I actually think is very interesting, is that the main female character is a music major.
Yes, and I know that she's made music for the show.
Yeah, but music in this show is like way more involved than, in my opinion, it was in the book. Not only in the soundtrack that they're using, but you know, like these guys are becoming friends beforehand, which I thought was I'm enjoying that. I'm actually thinking that's like an interesting thing that they did. They made a couple of changes. A couple of supporting characters are different.
Yeah.
Like they just literally just got rid of some and added others, you know, like new supporting characters, which I think is also working. And and they're meshing the books together, kind of like Heated Rivalry too. You know how like
Kip and what's his name storyline.
Yeah, was a previous book, and this one they're weaving in storylines that are happening in books after the first book.
Let's see, you know, because I really closed that chapter on Tell Me Lies. I was like, I can't watch the show anymore.
You can't watch college age shows anymore.
Like I was like, this is not interesting to me. I hate everyone in this show.
Yeah. Well, this is a romance, so you're not supposed to hate anybody in here. Okay. Like it's the opposite of Tell Me Lies, where it was a weird drama where the whole point was that everybody was unlikable. In a romance, you're supposed to like at least the two main characters.
Okay. All right. I'll try it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. I don't think you're gonna go into a heated rivalry like psychosis for it, but I think you will enjoy it.
I'm just waiting for my boys to get back.
Yeah.
Back in the studio.
You want to jump into the book because
we got to.
Just as a reminder, the first 20 minutes will be our spoiler-free section, so we'll talk about it high level. So feel free to keep listening if you haven't read the book yet, and we'll sound the spoiler alarm.
Yes,
when we're going to go into deep spoilers for Yesteryear. All right, so here's the synopsis. A wildly successful Tradwife influencer who has built her brand on romanticizing domestic life suddenly finds herself trapped in a version of the 1800s that feels disturbingly real, but without any modern comforts, freedoms, or safety nets she took for granted. As the line between performance and reality starts to collapse, she's forced to confront what happens when the fantasy lifestyle you sell online becomes the life you actually have to survive. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. This book is right now one of the buzziest books online. So I don't think this synopsis is going to surprise anybody. This was basically back of the book.
Yeah. So I have not looked up anything about the author because I was seeing a lot of interviews with her and she was talking about how I think, you know, like Ballerina Farm, a lot of the Tradwife stuff that's going on social media right now definitely influenced this, but I didn't want to look too much into it.
I got it, so I can tell you. Okay. So this is her debut novel. So Caro Claire Burke, this is her first novel.
One hell of a debut.
Yeah, it's one hell of a debut for sure. She is a writer. So like her background is in online journalism and writing and editing. She was at the Katie Couric Media Company for a while. She has a podcast called Diabolical Lies.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is really probably where she got the idea for Yesteryear, because it's like a very much like a cultural, feminist, political podcast where they're looking at these big cultural moments online and in the world and sort of talking about them and analyzing them with a very feminist lens. Okay. So that's how she's approaching this. And it does sound like she's done a lot of sort of cultural commentary broadly in the past few years. So that's the basis of it. And this is her first book.
Yeah.
She is no longer at the Katie Couric media company. She is, I believe, a full-time writer now.
Yeah. No, this is a great debut.
Well, and the story, of course, that also helped the initial sales. Like they really made sure the marketing material highlighted this. At the same time, basically, this was picked up by a traditional publisher. The rights were bought for a movie or TV show by Anne Hathaway and Anne Hathaway's company. So that was simultaneous. Like
That's
that
crazy.
she basically had two, I think they call them auctions, if only an author friend was here to tell us. But two of those going on at the same time, sold the rights to a publisher to publish it, and then also sold it to Anne Hathaway. Yeah.
This would be a great TV show or movie.
Yeah, so I mean, for the genre, I mean, it's literary fiction for sure, but it's a satire.
I definitely put that it was a satire. Yeah. It's almost a thriller.
I also put like psychological thriller in here. It's when she wakes up in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's sort of scary. She's confused. We're confused.
Well, nobody, like, you do not know what's going to happen next.
No. And I think this comes down to the biggest trope that's in this book.
Oh, yeah.
Unreliable narrator. And so,
my favorite trope. You know it.
And it really works here. You know that she's unreliable right off the bat, even before she wakes up in the past. Like, you're like, oh, this woman is spinning stories. She's
spinning.
Yeah.
Just herself.
Yeah. Spinning in circles.
Yeah.
And yeah, but there's a lot of, I think, female rage in here, although a very particular type, and the way that she deals with it is interesting.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
About
performance versus reality.
Yeah. Her, like, I don't know, like some of the motherhood, some of the religious, like
conservatism
yeah, is confusing. Like, there was a couple things that once again, I think because sometimes I just don't get satire. I'm like, is this real? Yeah. Are we supposed to think this or not think this?
Yeah. Some of the religious stuff was actually a surprise to me too, which we can go into. But maybe let's set the scene a little bit before we go any further. This book is all from Natalie's POV, so first person limited to Natalie. And it moves between two timelines. The modern timeline, where Natalie is the Tradwife influencer and sort of how she gets there, right? So we meet her and she's
like college age.
Yeah, like when we meet her, she's successful, and then we sort of flash back in the modern timeline to like how she got to this place. So when she left to go to college, like what her background was. And then there's the past timeline, which is the pioneer 1800s version of her life, and it is almost exactly like her life, but obviously in the 1800s. But then there's also some differences. She's pregnant in the modern timeline. She's not pregnant in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And instead of her 8 kids, she has 4 kids.
Yeah.
And
so there's different children. There's no electricity. The house is a little different. Even when she looks at her kids, she's like, you look like my kid, but different. Even when she sees her husband, she's like, you look like my husband,
but you're old. She calls him old Caleb. And not like the Caleb that she remembers. Like, it's not quite him.
Yeah, it's not quite him.
Yeah. So we're flashing back and forth. So she's in this past timeline. She's sort of desperate to get out because she's like, this is not my life. These are not my kids. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And she goes back and forth on like why she's there and like what's happening. Like going through that. And then in the modern timeline, it is slowly just unfolding how Natalie became this influencer.
Yeah.
And her beliefs, the family that she married into, her own family, all of that, and how that sort of rolls together.
Should we talk about the characters?
Yeah. All right. So first is Natalie.
First is our girl Natalie.
Talk about an unlikable character, Katie. Deeply unlikable.
She is deeply, deeply unlikable, but I did have an interesting time getting to know her.
Yeah.
And I was kind of, when she shows up in the Pioneer in the 1850s, I was like, oh no, girl, how'd you get there? We got to get you out.
Oh, you can't do this.
No, you don't know what you're doing.
Girl. But this is what surprised me, is that she is actually religious. Going into the book, just from the premise, I thought we were going to see somebody who's not a Tradwife at all. Kind of like in
oh no, like,
in Girl Dinner, where like the Tradwife influencer character in Girl Dinner was truly just lying.
Yeah.
I came in thinking that was going to be more who Natalie was, but it's not. She's truly very religious, and she always wanted to find a husband to marry, to have a million kids with, and to support him while he
does whatever it is that
became
he wants to
the great man that he was going to be.
Yeah. But she was also extremely smart. Like she went to Harvard. That's where she met her husband, and she was happy just to kind of give all that up to be this guy's wife. So let's talk about Caleb. He is a sack of meatballs.
Yeah, he's deeply idiotic. Like deeply
stupid.
Yeah.
The man is stupid and doesn't have a brain cell.
No, and he's the definition of a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Too. And to Natalie's surprise, again, ready to give it all up, support him when he does whatever the men do.
Yep.
And this guy's like, why would I work when I'm rich and I can just sit here and not work? And she goes, well, then what are we just going to live with your parents?
Yeah.
Your entire life? And then the parents have been dealing with Caleb having absolutely no ambition for his entire life and was hoping that she could fix him, basically. And so this was a surprise to her. And of course, how was she to know they only went on,
7 dates?
7 dates and then got married because he's also very religious.
All right. Then we've got Clementine, who's Natalie's oldest daughter. And she is in the modern times like
13.
Like 13-ish. Like she is like a teenager. She's definitely asking questions.
Yeah. And kids don't have phones or the internet.
They're homeschooled.
But there's so many people in the farm, like the producers and,
the
nannies, and the farm hands, because they're not working that land. Because you know what Caleb is?
An idiot.
And he can't even cowboy.
No.
He can't even ride. He can barely ride a horse.
No, he just knows how to milk a cow.
Yeah. Barely, I think.
Yeah.
And so Clementine now is, becoming self-aware, and people are talking. She's listening. She's asking questions, and people are telling her the answers. And she is definitely slowly figuring out that what her mother's selling isn't what her mother is actually.
No.
And is getting kind of mad about it.
But an important thing to note, when Natalie has Clementine, she did not take to being a mother.
No.
Like, at all. And I don't know if she ever did.
No. I think it became part of her persona. It became part of
her aesthetic.
Yesteryear, which is the name of her account. So she was able to sort of get behind it.
Yeah.
But no, she's not born to be a mother.
No.
Although she knows that that's pretty much
that she's...
Yeah, what she has to be.
Yep. All right. Then we've got Shannon. And Shannon comes in at the beginning of the book, but we're switching back and forth between timelines. And so Shannon hasn't been there that long, but she's essentially a 19 or 20-year-old producer that Natalie hired. And Shannon comes in there thinking, oh, wow, look at all this help you have and this and that, but is kind of really good at saying, this is the type of content we should be making. Yeah. We've got to do this. We've got to do that.
And from the very beginning, because Shannon is like a liberal college girl, and she's the type of girl that Natalie hated in college. Yeah. Natalie keeps being like, I got to fire her. But then Shannon is just sort of so good at what she's doing that Natalie doesn't, but she knows that Shannon's not buying what Natalie's selling.
No.
So she very much thinks that if this is all going to go to shit, it's going to be Shannon's fault.
Yep.
And then finally, I have Mary.
Yep.
Which is Natalie's oldest daughter, but in the past timeline, in the 1800s timeline. And Mary runs that house.
She knows everything. And this is truly living on the land. Like, Mary is doing the laundry, doing the cooking, doing the cleaning.
Like making the soap.
Yeah, making the soap.
Like not aesthetic soap, but like
real
soap just so they could get clean once a month.
Yeah.
Like in their monthly bath sort of soap. And Natalie is not really running this past household. Mary is.
No, because Natalie wakes up and she's like, oh my God, I've been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And someone's taken me to this absolutely hellish version of my home.
Yeah. What is it giving for you?
Okay, so I had a lot of things. Okay, so my first one is The Village by M. Night Shyamalan.
I have M. Night Shyamalan on here.
You immediately see that we're in modern times, now we're in pioneer times, and we're like, well, what the hell did happen?
Yeah.
Is this a version of the real world that, someone's going to walk out and see a highway and see cars? Mm-hmm. Or is there a crazy mystical time jump? I also said Ruby Frankie, like that whole drama.
Oh.
Another influencer with 1,000 kids. Those kids, basically ran away and said they were being abused and otherwise showed this very perfect life online. Those are my big ones.
Yeah. I mean, I said that particularly for the books that we've read for this podcast, Girl Dinner and My Husband's Wife. If you smashed those two together, like Girl Dinner is giving a lot of like the same themes around like motherhood and what is it like to be a woman, and like what is feminism? Is it really just choice, or is it, you know, fighting the patriarchy? All of that with the unreliable narrator psychological thriller aspect of My Husband's Wife.
Yeah. I could see that.
And then I also said M. Night Shyamalan or any big reveal.
Oh. And you're waiting. Like, you're true. Like, I felt like I was on the edge of my seat every single time, being like, ooh, are we going to find something out here? So I felt like it was very much a thriller in that sense of it.
And that's not how it was marketed,
which
is so interesting.
No.
And I would say it wasn't even really marketed as a satire, which it obviously is. But it was marketed almost like a magical realism type of book.
But I also didn't know when I started reading it. Could have been.
Maybe she did get transported back in time.
Or how did that happen?
And she would ask questions. She's like, maybe this is God testing me. Maybe I'm on a reality show.
Oh, yes.
So she was going back and forth with that, and I was too. All of that could have happened.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do a one-line plot?
Yeah. Want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
A Tradwife content creator gets trapped in a pioneer version of her own aesthetic and learns that traditional femininity is way less fun without air conditioning, antibiotics, or a stable grip on reality.
That's funny. Mine's kind of similar. A Tradwife influencer wakes up trapped inside a literal version of the fantasy she sold to millions and discovers the most terrifying thing about the prison may be that she helped build it herself.
Yeah, that's a bum version. Yep. Yeah, girl spirals in this book for
sure. She sure does.
All right, high level. Did you like it?
Yeah, I definitely liked it. I've been recommending it to people.
Me too. Did you like it more than you thought you were going to?
Yes, because I didn't really know. I knew that everyone was talking about it. I felt like it was going to be more based on like motherhood and, you know, the relationships in her life and stuff like that. I did not really think that it was going to be as thrilling as it was.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, you're right. It was a bit of a thriller.
All right.
At the end of the day.
Did you like it?
I did like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it too. I was pleasantly surprised that it like challenged me on a couple of things.
Also, would our mother read this?
Mother would watch the movie, I think. I don't know if she would read the book, but I think the Anne Hathaway movie or show, I think she would.
I think you're right. I think she would.
All right, you want to get into the spoilers?
Yes.
Okay, ready? Wee-oo. Spoiler section. You've been warned.
All right.
When did you decide, Katie, that you liked the book?
I felt like the beginning was a little slower because we do start, I feel like, when Natalie is younger. But right when we get to that pioneer world, I was like, what?
Yeah. And when does the pioneer world jump in? Like probably, 50 pages in, maybe?
It's pretty soon in the beginning.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think, around the jump too. I think the moment that I was like, oh, this is going to be a little bit different than what I thought is when she first got to the pioneer world. She tried to escape.
Yeah.
And she got caught in a trap, and it was this whole thing, and she was waiting for somebody to pop out and be like, here's your antibiotics, here's your medical attention. And of course there wasn't. It was just Mary and her tease just trying to make it so her mother's foot didn't fall off. And then the next day when she went out to try and figure things out, Natalie found what she thought was a piece of like a mic, like a lavalier mic, where
plastic.
You would, like a plastic where you would like, clip it onto like your shirt if you were recording. And I was like, oh, so maybe this is some sort of, and I'm like, oh, so we're going to go back and forth. Like, is it a reality show? Is it not a reality show? And then when I realized that we were going to get so much information on how she became the influencer that she eventually became.
Yeah.
And information about like the family and all of that she married into. I was like, oh, this is also interesting. Both timelines were interesting to me.
Yes, both timelines were definitely interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we got to give
I think we got to get the twist right away. Yep. And so the twist is the past is not the past. Natalie basically had a mental breakdown. So in the future, there was a scandal that happened, and she basically convinced herself that if she just lived a truly authentic farm pioneer life, that people would forgive her. They would see that she was doing it the right way. Yep. So she ripped out every piece of modernity from her carefully curated farm.
Yep.
Like, did one last Amazon order to get them started, and her and her 8 kids at the time, or 7 kids, with she was pregnant with the 8th, lived like that for a season.
And season?
Like until it got cold. Like season, like a...
Yeah, like a...
Like 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Lived like that for like 3 months, in which then Clementine, once it got cold and they didn't have heat, Clementine was like, we're not going to do this. And she took the rest of the kids, except for Mary, who was the child that Natalie was pregnant with at the time and ended up having on the farm.
So, I mean, so the thing is that this future, or this like past of Pioneer is 20 years in the future.
Yeah.
So it is not, it's literally her house, and she, within those 20 years, had 4 more children.
Yep.
Caleb is, looks different to her because he's 20 years older and truly now has been a cowboy on the farm.
Yeah. I mean, not a good one, but
still, well, still not a good one.
And she just basically did it herself. She just has these 4 kids living like it's the 1800s when it's 2040.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when she runs away again and stumbles upon, this was very M. Night Shyamalan, The Village, a cabin with a car parked in the back, and it's called the Manosphere.
Yeah.
Which is where I guess Caleb goes and hangs out.
And she sees one of her sons that she now recognizes, but he's older, one of the sons her original sons, sitting there taking stickers off of produce.
Yeah.
Because sons basically just go to the grocery store, and then Caleb comes, hangs out at the Manosphere.
Yeah, with a TV, with all of
the modern
life's
conveniences,
comforts.
And then brings the food back like he's been farming and hunting and all of that jazz.
Yep. It makes me laugh.
The Manosphere was truly satire.
Well, I think that's a whole thing that we kind of didn't explain, is that one, Caleb's dad is a very conservative politician.
Yeah.
And once Natalie becomes famous, kind of by accident, online, he realizes that, or he wants Natalie to use her platform to, kind of gas him up in his bid for the presidential election. And then what Caleb is doing has been going on essentially Reddit and all these forums to figure out, like, I think initially how to farm, how to do some of this stuff, since it's not something that they knew. And he gets so deep into these chat rooms that they start saying crazy things to him, and he just believes it because he's a literal fucking idiot.
Yeah. What was the one thing that he was so forgetting?
I don't know, but he was saying something about like New York City and how there's
the rats. It was the rats in New York City. That he truly thought that the rats in New York City were giving everybody bubonic plague, or something like that. But because he's such an idiot and he's so susceptible, once Shannon, the young producer, who sort of sees what an idiot he is and is like, I'm going to see if I can un-idiot him. She's like, I'm going to give it a try. Like, maybe I could convince this man other things. And it turns out, no problem. Like, she basically turned him liberal.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
She was there for maybe 3 months. Like, basically the moment Shannon gets there is the downfall of Yesteryear farm. Like, she sees the actual farmhands using pesticides because Natalie was like, Caleb's an idiot and doesn't actually know how to grow anything. We need pesticides so that this stuff actually grows.
And she ends up having an affair with Caleb, but also never thinks he's going to leave Natalie for her. But Caleb does go to Natalie, and Natalie knows they're having an affair. Natalie had figured it out already, and she's like, it's fine. I just need him to keep doing what he's doing and posing for my Instagrams, and it'll be okay. But then he wants to leave and go back to the city with Natalie.
To go to New York City.
With Shannon.
Because Shannon has taught him that there's a whole other world out there that he didn't know about because he's a literal idiot.
Yeah. And when Natalie tells Shannon that Caleb is leaving her for Shannon, Shannon goes,
No.
"Oh no, that was not what I wanted.
I don't want him."
She's like, I just wanted to basically prove that these people didn't believe what they said they were believing in. And that's true for Caleb. Caleb would believe a ham sandwich. So, but Natalie did believe it. Natalie did have some level of conviction. She was willing to lie to make sure people believed that she believed it. You know what I mean? But she did have a level of conviction to her beliefs.
Yeah.
And to God and to like all of that. Caleb did not. Caleb was just doing what anybody told him to do.
Yeah. So there were a lot of things I think I got confused about.
Okay.
In this. So in the pioneer world, Caleb like was beating Natalie.
Yeah.
Like he was backhanding her. And it was very interesting because Natalie was like, well, surely if this is a reality television show, someone would interrupt. The producers would interrupt if this man is beating me. And I'm like, who did Caleb become? And so the entire time she's in this pioneer world, she is constantly like, who are all of you people? I do not know who you are. Where have you kidnapped me from? And she always thinks that something has gone on and that she is not supposed to be here. And so when the middle daughter gets sick, she asks Mary and she's like, I'm scared that this kid is going to die. Do you think that there's anywhere that we can go for real help? And that's when Mary says, basically gives her the directions to get to the manosphere. Yeah. But Mary and any of these kids do not know that the real world exists.
No.
They have absolutely no idea. They've only ever known life on this ranch. And I can't believe they made it that far.
Yeah,
20 years.
Yeah. And poor Mary also, because every once in a while neighbors will come over.
Yeah.
And we find out that those neighbors are actually just the oldest sons of Natalie and Caleb from modern times. And Mary, who's never known a single man outside of her family and doesn't know that these people are her brothers, like gets little crushes on them.
I know.
Of course, they are her brothers, and her brothers know that. So there's nothing untoward happened. But poor Mary, and then all of that's happening, and Natalie is just like, Mary can't go. That means I'd have to be in charge of this 1800s house, and I don't want to be.
And so that's another thing. I don't know why Natalie keeps having children. Like, she doesn't like these children.
No.
She has no interest, which is why she has 2 nannies at the Yesteryear farm. She has no interest in these children at all. And Clementine is the only one that knew that. She was like, our mom is insane and we got to get the heck out of here.
Yeah, Clementine does come back because after Natalie finds the manosphere and one of the brothers mention it, that was what she needed to get some sort of legal rights to come in and take the kids.
And so that's where I got confused.
Yeah, that was confusing.
In the modern world, let's say, the scandal that's happening is unfolding on TV. So Shannon is giving an interview to someone, basically just saying that Natalie's totally fake, that nothing in her life is real. And then she says that there was this incident where Natalie like tried to kill her, but then it got weirdly sexual.
So that was one of the things that I think is purposely unclear, is that when the assault happened, Natalie did assault Shannon.
Shannon was like, yeah, I'm sleeping with your husband. And Natalie's just like, bah! And like chokes her.
And then from Natalie's point of view, she's choking her. She sort of blacks out. And then she does mention that Shannon's pants had fallen off, gone down around her thighs or something like that. And so that is something that's mentioned from Natalie's point of view when it was happening. And then when Shannon goes on TV and gives her interview and talks about the assault, it's also a sexual assault. She says that Natalie sexually assaulted her. And Natalie has no memory of that.
And we don't know either.
And we don't know. And because Natalie is so religious and conservative, homosexuality is like a huge no-no.
Yeah.
We never even bring it up. It's like mentioned briefly when her family, Natalie's mom and sister, join a less conservative church.
Yeah.
And she's just like, how could they? And that, I think, was left purposely vague, but it was a little out of left field for me. And I'm not sure if we're supposed to be assuming Natalie herself is queer in some way, and that's why she's so bananas, because she's like, she can't be her authentic self because she's built this world and this belief system around conservative values, and so that's part of the reason why she is losing her grip on reality. But those details never unfold.
But then, so from this interview that Shannon is giving, and this is all coming out, and they're all at the ranch. It's Caleb, Natalie, and then his parents.
Yeah.
So his mom is on the sauce.
Mother's Little Helpers.
She is taking Mother's Little Helpers. She is drinking. She is not there.
No.
And
diet consists white wine and Percocets, pretty much.
And his dad is kind of like, all right, we're all going to figure this out together. There's a way that we can spin this story. But when he hears Shannon's interview, he's like, there's no way. And I love the fact that his thought about solving this problem was to kill Natalie and to basically say that she died in a car accident.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, it sounds like truly they're staying on the same ranch. Everyone knows where they are. I find it very hard to believe that there were no paparazzi or cameras or all this, this whole big scandal happens. And that's not something that's remembered. That's not something Clementine brings up. But at the end, she's going to jail.
Yeah.
And for like child neglect. And I don't know why it had to take 20 years for that to happen.
Yeah. It sounds like no one cares anymore. It's 20 years. She hasn't posted online, obviously, for 20 years. Like, people have moved on. The father-in-law never became president. That entire family was in disgrace, and so the world just forgot about them. Except for Clementine.
And Clementine was plotting against this mother for her entire life. One of my scene stealers, which sort of goes to the end when, after Clementine comes, takes the kids.
Yeah. We do a little bit of a jump, but we find out that there's an interview that's happening in the beginning of the book, and then the interview that's happening at the end of the book, and that's the same interview.
Yeah.
And she's being interviewed because she's, gone back into the public world. She's been arrested for child endangerment, and this is a PR stunt because she still gets a PR team for whatever reason to try to get some sort of sympathy from the masses. And Natalie insists that her old roommate from college, Rena, who she hated. And Rena is just a normal girl, like, in college. Like, she's smart, she's in Harvard, but of course she's making bad decisions. She's sleeping with guys that she shouldn't. She's partying too much. She's smoking cigarettes. And Natalie hates her. And honestly, Rena hates Natalie because Natalie is a holier than thou, weird religious person who's in the room with her. And Natalie is constantly talking about Rena throughout the book, like, in her head. Like, she is the villain in her story. Yeah, and Natalie compares herself to Rena all the time.
It's like, oh, I wonder what Rena's doing right now.
Yeah, she'll internet stalk Rena and be like, well, I guess she didn't get that job at McKinsey she wanted. And she's, the modern woman. Like, why would people want to be a modern woman when they can be a traditional, like, wife, like, but she insists that Rena's the one who does the interview, because it turns out that she's, just a regional reporter. She's not even a big time reporter. Natalie wants her to do the interview, and Natalie still thinks she's better than Rena when she sits down with it. And Rena, like, sits down and, like, the first question is just like a barn burner. Like, it's not something that Natalie expects. And then the book ends. And I'm like, go get it, Rena. So there's definitely a few themes going throughout this book. I think the biggest one is, like, performance versus authenticity.
And who said, I think it's her mom that says, whenever I was feeling that motherhood was really hard. I just pretended that someone was watching me from the outside. So I was, putting on a performance, making sure that I looked happy all the time, making things look easy even though they weren't. I just never let anybody see me fail, essentially. I just pretended that there was an audience. And Natalie was like, oh,
good idea.
Great idea.
I'm just going to triple down on that.
And that's literally what Natalie does.
Yeah. You saw it in her narration, too. She was constantly trying to think like the woman she wanted to be and like that she was giving to the world. And then every once in a while, she'd break the narration and just start cursing. Like in like her own brain. And then she'd be like, oh, no,
sorry.
Sorry, God. Sorry, God. I didn't mean it, God.
Sorry, God.
Or she'd be mean to somebody. And then she'd be like, oh, sorry, God. I didn't mean it, God.
Yeah. She'd be like, oh, Rena, that bitch.
She'd be like, oh, sorry, God. I know she can't help it. And a couple of times, like she even did it out loud.
Oh,
She only broke twice. One time to Caleb's dad, and I think one other time, and that was funny.
It was funny. I think it was to Shannon.
Yeah, and then of course, eventually, this like drive for her to be this authentic person she thought she was.
Yeah,
but in fact was just a performance. Ended up, her just
biting her in the ass.
Yeah, just sending her back to 1800s for no reason, and gave herself a true mental break.
I think she's so mentally ill from the jump.
Yes,
she was
mentally ill from the
unstable.
jump, and that's actually something that I'm not seeing a ton of people talking about it online. Yes, there's lots of other things going on with Natalie, but this woman was never mentally well. There's something going on there that was just never addressed.
So in the pioneer days, she often goes crazy and obviously runs away from the house and is like, who are you people? And the family that is there, her husband and Mary, are like, oh, mommy's not feeling well again.
Yeah.
Like they're very used to this happening. So my assumption is that she wakes up often and does not remember where she is.
Like a complete, and at the end when Clementine comes, she does remember, but it comes back to her slowly. It's not like she remembers, oh, she's been faking it this entire time. Like she's truly convinced herself that she's been kidnapped into this world. That I thought was an interesting thing on the satire side of things was of the gender role and the religion. That's like all big. Yeah. We've talked about that, but just how dumb Caleb was and how stuck this woman was with him, because she realized pretty early on that the prenup that she signed, and everything that she had signed since then. So she bought the farm with a small $5 million loan from her father-in-law, and she was doing this basically to give Caleb a purpose,
but also so that once she became famous, she was like, I'm going to get money and I can leave this guy, because otherwise there's
and she would never say that out loud though. So so obviously she got the money from the father-in-law for the farm, but everything was in Caleb's name.
Yep.
And then when her Instagram blew up and they were getting, she's like a ton of money from Instagram, she was siphoning off money into a separate account for it, and Caleb found out.
Yeah.
And she just went like, oops, sorry, silly me, didn't know.
Pregnancy brain.
Yeah. And she was like, shit, but she never said, even to herself, like not even in the narration that we got to see, because we were in her brain the entire time. She never said that was so she could run away. It was, for Caleb and like for the family. And, like maybe one day she'd need to like, just do something. She didn't want to bother him. But she was trying to convince herself it wasn't so she could have enough money to get the hell out of there.
Yep.
But she did also want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, she didn't want to be there. All right. If you suddenly woke up in the pioneer times, what do you think is the modern luxury that to live without would truly break you?
Truly break me?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be like air conditioning.
That's what
it'd have to be air conditioning. I couldn't imagine. I mean, maybe electricity broadly, but if very specifically, air conditioning.
Yeah, I think I would say air conditioning. But also, I feel like not having a real shower.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think I know what it would be.
What?
They had an outhouse.
Yeah.
They had an outhouse.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
No. Nope.
I think I could get used to an outhouse if I absolutely had to, as long as it wasn't like as long as it sort of felt like a toilet in the sense of like.
I mean, do you know what an outhouse is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a wooden porta potty.
Yeah, but like, it has like a seat that you like sit on, but the seat's a hole in the ground. But it has some sort of throne, if you will. Oh no, but it's probably made of wood and you probably get splinters in your butt. No, it's not great. I feel like I could maybe get used to that. And if everybody smelled and was gross, then I think maybe I could get used to also being smelly and gross. But how am I supposed to sleep if it's not a crisp 68 degrees? That I don't know if I'd be able to do.
It's so much work.
Oh, it's so much work.
They were really working hard. I mean, morning to night.
Yeah, morning to night, just so you could have one meal a day, basically. Yeah. And it was a roll, a biscuit. Yeah.
Remember she kept trying to make sourdough and like it never worked in the pioneer world?
I know, and she was so good at it in the modern times, and she like couldn't make it work here. Yeah, I know. Oh, you know what else? Which I would love to read if Caro Claire Burke ever just wanted to put out a small companion piece, is that near the end, Mary wrote a memoir.
Yes.
And I'm like, I would read that memoir. That's the type of like cult literature that I'm interested in the way that you're interested in true crime.
Yeah, that is a good point. So at the end, obviously Clementine comes and takes all the kids, but then I think we jump 5 years later.
Yeah.
Natalie's in jail.
And doing the interview.
And Mary has written a memoir about what it was like and kind of says like, I don't blame this all on you, Mom. Like,
yeah.
And man, Clementine does not. She hates her mother so much and says that all of the kids are okay, but they're not great.
Yeah. No one is not messed up. Even the ones, the modern time kids who didn't have to like live very long in the pioneer times are also not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
I would like to read that.
Yeah. Like I would like to read that fictional memoir from Mary. So what's your final ratings, Kay?
All right, I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4.5.
Ooh.
I went back and forth between like a 4 and a 4.5. And I'm like, I think I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
I definitely liked it more than I thought. I read it so quickly.
Yeah.
But I felt like there's some plot holes in there, or maybe things that I would have wanted to expand on a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of discourse on the internet that it wasn't like some sort of magical time hop. Yeah. And I was okay with that.
It made more sense that it wasn't a magical time hop at the end of it all.
I actually thought it was
if it did end up being some sort of magic, it would have been a different book completely. Yeah. And this was a book about a woman losing her mind, ultimately. Yeah. It was closer to an M. Night Shyamalan movie than it was anything else.
The only other thing I would say, it would have been interesting if this was like a reality TV show, if that was the case.
That would have been interesting
too. Like The Truman Show, but different, remember?
I liked the way it ended. I think a lot of people didn't like the way it ended.
I liked it.
It was both so simple
and
so insane that I was like, I can't believe this is where we went. And I did. I liked the commentary and like the modern timeline as well, sort of following this conservative politician.
Yeah.
And how he was learning from her and learning from his no good Nepo baby son who got obsessed with the manosphere, and his entire campaign ended up being about how there's going to be a civil war in the United States. And I'm like, sounds familiar.
Yeah. Does sound awfully familiar.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I've been recommending it to everybody.
I have also been recommending it to everyone.
It's really buzzy. It's very much right now, but I'm like, read it. You won't regret it. You might hate it. People are like 2 stars, 5 stars. It's you either love it or hate it. I think very few people are being like, oh yeah, just fine.
Yeah. But I liked it.
I would love to talk to somebody who thought it was
bad.
Like gave it like 2 or 3 stars to like see what they were picking up that I didn't pick up. I think that would be interesting.
What they thought this book was going to be about.
Yeah. Like I feel like our good friend Brianna.
Yeah.
If she read this book.
I don't think she read it.
She hasn't read it yet, but I wonder if she'd like it. I bet you she wouldn't.
We must have her read it.
I know. All right. Well, that's it for Yesteryear. Katie, you want to tell everybody what we're reading next?
Yep. So we are going to be reading Fury Bound by Sable Sorensen, which is the sequel to Direbound, which we read late last year.
Yeah.
I want to say.
In December, maybe.
Yeah, like actually, wow, the sequel came out
really fast, within the year. I'm not exactly sure. I think we read Direbound within a couple of months of it coming out.
Yeah, I think so too. But I am excited about that. We did really like Direbound, so I'm interested to see how Furybound shapes up. I don't think it's a duology, though.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. I think I might be a trilogy.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it was a duology.
I love a good duology.
I really feel like we're not doing duologies as much as I feel like we should be doing them.
We should. We really should be doing duologies. Duologies, please. Writers.
I know. Let's go back to duologies, man.
I love a good twosie.
Because you know what? I'm not opposed to a fantasy standalone, but I do think that a lot of fantasy stories, romantasy stories, are too big to be done in one book. If you were going to do it in one book, it'd be like 1,000 pages, and I don't want to read a 1,000-page book. Looking at you, Alchemized.
That was too
long. That was a standalone, and it was too long. So if that was 2 books, I think I would have been okay with that. Yeah. So I think a duology is what we should be doing.
Yeah.
For fantasy. I mean, yes, you can have, I say that, and Sarah J. Maas is coming out with, like, you know, the 6 ACOTAR. Can't wait. But I would love more duologies.
Yes, I would too. All right. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, no genre shaming unless it's funny. Bye.